What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the Palace Pistons report. And it's been a while, but we got a whole lot to talk about. So, we're gonna look at a lot of this off-season stuff up to this point. Been a whole lot to talk about, or a whole lot of happening today. Especially today is we're recording this on Wednesday, July 1st. So, without further ado, I got my dog with me. What's up, Quincy?
What's going on, man?
So, we about to talk some of this Pistons, dog. So, what's been happening so far? So, where we starting at? We talking about the off season, right?
Yep. Off season's here. Congrats to the Knicks, I guess. But yeah, we're here. Uh, getting it popping. So a lot has changed. A lot has been moved. A lot of players have been moved. That's to say, a lot of new names, a lot of names gone. So yeah, let's put it out there.
So, go ahead and kick us off. What we got? Right before the draft, what happened? Well, we was gearing up for the draft. There was a lot of speculation. I guess like some names were swirling around, like a draft night trade, maybe for Jalen Brown or something like that. There was a few names out there, but and now that I just said that, one name that we didn't see move yet was Laurie Markkinen. But I don't think he's coming
Mhm.
here. That just happened to what's the word, pop in my head. But excuse me. But go ahead, start us out. So the Pistons got involved in some early draft trades, right?
Yep. Early on, we moved. We moved from 21, and I believe we picked 17. I
Well, wait,
believe.
wait, 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 wait. But even before that, or was that a part of that deal? What happened? What happened? We traded Stu, man. What happened?
Oh yeah. So before then we decided to move on from beef stew. Uh this was a big one to digest because it was like why? But looking into it, we wanted to free up that have that cap flexibility of his 15 million, I think he was getting. So in my head, it made sense because we literally trade him for peanuts of second round, which second rounders it's been. I mean, a second rounder just won Finals MVP, so you can't really crap on second rounders like that anymore. But that's all it was for, and but it turns out them second rounders did do us a favor going on down the line. So
Right, right. So Isaiah Stewart, like you said, got traded allegedly to clear up some cap space, but he got traded to the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for three future second round picks. So, like then we went into the draft, and you said something about, we ended up using those second round draft picks. So, there was some draft night trade, or there was some first round draft trades, right? What happened in the first round?
yeah, so first round we moved up from our original draft slot of 21 and we went up to I believe we picked him at 17th. But we got and please we all gonna have to get adjusted to this name respectfully, but you Becker or Kure. Um yeah, we got
Here's the thing. You said that. I mean, and I don't know if you said it right, but you said that, and then you did a good job. Like you,
no
like you
and
ain't. You
well
could have. You could have. You said like you was about to be like something way worse than that.
yeah, no. I only heard it. Let me see. I want to say 5 or 6 times heading into the draft, and then Adam Silver. He can't even say his own name right. So yeah, it's like it's one of them things to where you're gonna rely on George Blaha further on in the season to be like, oh, okay, well that's how you say it. So I mean,
Right. So good. You just said that. What'd you hear about him before the draft?
it was some videos floating out. They said he was going to be one to look at later on in the draft. It wasn't too much of a buzz because of the school he went to. Didn't particularly do too good. Um, Even though they said he was a good playmaker, he really wasn't setting up plays for other Stanford players like that because the other Stanford players really wasn't that good. So it's like it was one of them like, oh well, these good teams got to look out for him because he might slip down in the draft. And I think it's one of them things to where Trajan Langdon was like, oh, it's something I could do and I must have him. All the way to the point I got to climb up to make sure nobody else get him. Like OKC was taking everybody they wanted to, which is who we got in that traded with that slot. So yeah.
Then no, Trajan came from New Orleans. Never mind. I was say, didn't he come from OKC? That was Troy Weaver,
Mhm.
right, or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Weaver came from OKC and
Yeah.
then Langdon from
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Yeah. Screw that guy. But So no, how am I saying his name? Ibeka Ukore.
Yeah, that's what we're
Gentleman
running with.
comes, excuse me, comes out of Stanford. Is a supposed to be a defensive guard and all this other stuff. And he actually he could play a little bit. He, like you said, he could play make and he could shoot a little bit. I saw this player talking about him, but it was interesting because I heard some. It was a Pistons. It was a Piston. It was Detroit sports talk, but this was the comp they gave him, and the comp was Lindsey Hunter. And then I saw a video of Lindsey Hunter talking. I didn't actually watch it, but I saw it was on Woodward Sports one night. I believe it was on Woodward Sports, but the headline was like Lindsey Hunter talks about the Detroit Pistons draft pick. So I think that is a interesting comp, and I like it. I like it a whole lot. Um, Tell us more about that. Those 3 second round picks, though, Quincy.
The 3 second round
Well, wait.
picks.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. Let's talk about the draft. Let's talk about the trade right quick. So, like you
Oh,
said, they end up trading. The Pistons initially drafted Kareem Lopez at
hmm
21, and then they end up trading him to the Memphis for the gentleman we just said. I can't think his name right now. But go ahead.
yeah,
Tell me about
you.
those second round picks.
Yeah, so the second round picks. One glimmering one was who we many believed that we replaced beef stew with, and that's my man. And this is one you gonna have to bear with me with Ugana Usaniu. He came from he's a Nigerian, came from Virginia. So he's an interesting one because he was a rotational piece coming off the bench.
Two
So
things. Two things.
yeah.
If he came from Virginia, he'd be a Virginian. But that and then two, you did that again. Hey guys, please forgive me. I don't know what I'm gonna say. And then you sound like you grew up with him.
Hey, like I said, it's something to work because that was my first time hearing on draft night. That was my first time hearing about him. So I'm
No,
like, all right,
it's cool. When you got dreads, you became Nigerian.
okay, I'll agree today. Today I'll agree. But but he's an interesting one because much like second rounders, they have a particular role to fill should they get drafted. So he came off the bench, so his stats really didn't flare up like that until you look at his blocks. So he have a couple of um, multi-block games, few 7+ games. And the reason you want to look at this and under a magnifying glass is because he did come off the bench. So it's like you look at his highlights. He do lock in really good. He got a good wingspan to even if he gets beat, he can challenge the shot really good in the interior. And hopefully he could get off on the right foot in JB's rotation. If not, I do see him probably getting a lot of time in the G League until he's able to, get called up. But no, I do see a good spot for him in the future, long term, for the Pistons. Yes, particularly to fill in Beef Stew role. So
So do you think he'll play immediately, or well, no, you just kind of answered that. But let's say if he does start out in the G League, just your predict, or how about that? Like, do you think he'll start out in the G League, or if he does, and if he do, how long is he gonna stay there?
I'm calling at least like until late December. This is around the time where the Pistons, that was that soft spot where they started playing with Dennis Jenkins a little bit more. So they kind of flow in mid December, late December. Is what I'm calling. Particularly another reason too. He's starting to stress the floor a little bit before the end of the season in college. So you look up his stats, you'll see it was about maybe 28, 29%. Nothing too great, but you see he was starting to, let it go a little bit.
And call me old fashioned, but I like my big man in the paint, dog. Like, I don't really
I
care if
do
he can
too.
shoot.
I do
I get
too,
it.
but
Maybe
yeah,
a
it's
maybe a little, you know what I'm saying, a little, out to about 20 foot jump shot or whatever it is, Tim Duncan style with it. Maybe maybe you can, but I don't know. Anyway, but I wanted to look him up because I was unfamiliar with both of those gentlemen that we drafted, but I wanted to look at Ugona's stats, and I didn't know none of this stuff. He actually started out at Kentucky. He played 2 seasons at Kentucky.
yeah.
In his second year, he averaged 2.8 blocks a game. Going over to Kansas State, he didn't. It don't look like he played that much over there. Didn't play too many minutes. But and then over in or at Yeah, and he only started 2 games in at Kansas State. He wasn't the all-time starter in Kentucky. It didn't look like he started 14 of 24 in his sophomore year and didn't start a game in his freshman year. But yeah, he didn't start, or at least what this is saying. It looked like he didn't start at Virginia either. At least is that's what GS means. But
Yeah, game started.
yeah, right.
He was a bench piece. Yeah.
But he averaged 2.9 blocks. As I just said all that to say, he just looks like he can block some shots. So got to take a look at those draft picks. At 17, it was Rebecca Okore, and at 53 in the second round, it was Ugonna Oyenso, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
But right or shortly after that, well, again, we talking about the off season. Most of the off season, we had been seeing that, that the Pistons were interested in re-signing all NBA center and All Star Jalen Duren, right?
Yeah.
And then we started seeing more things about, hey, they might be, way far off in numbers, and it looks like there was an official offer, and Jalen Duren was like, "No, cuz I need more than that." So, if you want to explain that timeline a little bit more, go ahead. But what is your thoughts on Jalen Duren? The situation that we're in right now.
Um. Well, so much has transpired. I can't get the timeline particularly intact, but yeah, you pretty much was correct on everything. They said things was hopefully gonna go good. Pistons made an offer, and then all of a sudden you started seeing reports that contract negotiations has stalled. That was the report. And then all of a sudden, reports start coming out that Duran was unhappy with the numbers and wanted to seek possible sign and trade scenarios throughout the league. So um, that was kind of a tough pill to swallow because it's like we want him here. It sounds like we do want him here, but it's like yeah, them playoffs, them playoffs. If his game that married him the All NBA All Star merits carried over to the playoffs, we talking about a whole different situation. Like but yeah, no, that's just where it was. He was looking for more sign and trade scenarios, and then teams, few teams became interested. If you want to go over those,
Well, no, come on, man. Talk to me like how you was talking in the group chat. Cause when it first hit that he was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go talk to somebody else. Who do he want to talk to?
no, that's what I was saying. Particularly, I'm trying to be nice about this.
No, no, no,
he,
no. Don't be,
he,
don't be.
okay, all right. So my man's wanted to hear from some teams. One in particular is the Sacramento Kings. Yeah, them same Sacramento Kings. That now, granted, they draft Aka, so who knows what direction they may be turning. But if you- to think about the Sacramento Kings is clearly saying, okay, I'm briefly f winning right now. I need to know
Yeah, yeah. I
what
want to
my
get
true
paid,
numbers is. Yeah,
and I
so
and I don't necessarily blame him for that. But I mean, like you said, then, well, I don't know if he was working to that, but that pretty much said all need to be said about it. Um, One thing though, I kind of on the whole situation, I kind of think because now, of course, we've heard different or more teams. Of course, then he had a shortly after that it was like, oh, he also got a call set up with the Lakers, and then he got a call set up with
mhm.
Boston, and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of like the PR trying to work, maybe, like like how you said everybody was looking like, oh, because that's all I saw on Twitter. Everybody was like, no, get him out of here. Like we don't even want him back. Like even if it's at an affordable number, I don't even want him back here type stuff. Because like you ain't trying to win nothing. You want to go get paid. And again, me personally, all right, cool. I ain't necessarily mad at you, but yeah, you don't want to win. I don't want you on my team. But
Yeah.
shortly at well, what? Go ahead. What you about to say?
No, I'm just saying, like, I do know the nature of the game. Like, and it's even way more notable stars that said, hey, I wanted to see things out here where I first got drafted and all that, but hey, the numbers was calling, so I had to go. So I'm not about to single him out like, oh, F him because he's looking for a bigger contract. It's always been players looking for bigger contracts. But we just need to be honest and be like, okay, well, he want the bigger numbers, he want the bigger dollars. He got to go out and get it. But
Keep it
we
like you said though. Like we that is a thing. My
yeah.
bad, because you was about to get to your point. My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, 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 and that's just pretty much what I was leaving off with. Is just like it's kind of like we're at a standstill because you have to know the dynamic of what we got going on in this small market town of Detroit. That hey, we got to do what it takes to win. We're gonna get into the new acquisitions later, but one player in particular is B-Ball Paul. B-Ball Paul's getting paid on a veteran like a vet minimum contract, and he show out. So it's like like we just need something to say, hey, I'm gonna cut something off the top because yeah, I played horribly in the playoffs, and I know I didn't, especially to be paid as the second best player, I didn't put that on display. So I need to help y'all somehow. But right now, what we got is
Right.
nah. Lord, let me look
Right.
at what's going on in Cali.
Yeah. I gotta be able to do something to make sure that, like I said, like even his performance in the playoffs, I don't believe was acceptable at all. But it wouldn't hurt us as bad if we had like a Devin Booker or somebody, a better second option. He was the clear, third man, the third man, like he probably should be. But the thing I was going to say was, which what we talked about again, some of those teams that we heard about, which was again what I believe was the PR trying to make things look better. Um, Both of those teams made moves for big men. The Lakers traded for what's his name? Who was it?
Walker
Yeah, Walker
Kessler,
Kessler,
yeah,
and the Boston Celtics signed my man from the Knicks, who was Mitchell
yeah,
Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson, yeah,
So it looks like those options have dried up for Jalen Duren, or he actually never was really a plan to go sign with those teams. It was
hmm
more so about getting to the money with Sacramento. And again, I ain't really, I ain't tripping, but you know, do your thing, Woody man. But
and here's one thing to be, because one thing to take think about. It's like we got to address where his mindset is. Like, do he want to win here in Detroit? And if so, he got to recognize, like, okay, I may not be ready to be the number two. So, am I giving Detroit all the necessary to also be fair to my contract? He was all NBA. He was an all star. Okay, but am I putting Detroit in the best position to be the second to get a second piece that can help out in the playoffs? And right now with him entertaining other offers, it's kind of hard to say that he is. So if he do want to be the guy out there in Sacramento, I would say, yeah, let that happen. Yeah.
and another thing I think that they PR team failed to realize is that niggas was ready to get rid of him, and they was okay with Demontis Sabonis coming here. Because it
Right.
was like, all right, cool, that's cool. So it was like somebody say, oh no, well maybe he ain't going to Sacramento. Like,
Right.
whatever, whatever. But enough about that loser. And so there was other trades, in this offseason there has been some trades. One of the earlier ones was the Pistons made a move for Isaiah Joe.
Yep. Yep.
So
There
go ahead.
was those second rounders that we acquired. Believe we that was the exchange for Isaiah Joe to OKC. So I don't got his numbers right now, but I was just throwing it out there. From a 3 points perspective, we addressed the weakness with that move. So he's well in his 40 percentile shooting the three. So as a rotational piece for a championship contender, so that's nothing to scoff at. Like, that's pretty big deal.
Well, Isaiah Joe, of course, he was a rotational player out there in Golden State. Was he coming off of no, he played 71 games. He only started in 9 of them. But this year, he was 11 points. He can shoot the free throw, of course, close to 90. But I'm trying to find his 3 point. It's 42% from the three. He's a career 40%. I believe you just said that he's a career 40% shooter.
Hmm
I thought he was taller than that. He's 6'4", just a true shooter, I suppose. My thing is like that sounds just like the guy that we drafted last year. It was Chaz Lanier.
Chaz
So
Lanier, yeah.
and he about 6'4", just supposed to be a pure shooter. So I don't know what that means, but
I think what I do think is that Langdon and JB kind of did their homework. And the difference with Chaz Lanier, he is a pure shooter, but the way I want to say how JB runs his offense is kind of harder for him to get to his spots. Whereas with Isaiah Joe, they kind of looked at his film and was like, oh well, it ain't no hard spots for him. He just, if the defense break down and try to look at SGA too much or Jalen Williams or whatever, they kick it out to him. He, dust off the shelf and knock it in. So
Right. Well, much luck to you, Chaz O'Neal. Let's see if you can crack that rotation. But some other moves. Looks like they re-signed Kevin Harder, and Duncan Robinson's still here. So add more shooters to the team.
yep. Yeah, I didn't see them. There was some rumors that Duncan Robinson was getting waived, but I didn't believe him because it's like you can't gut, too much what got you the first seed and you already lost well, we didn't touch this, but we lost Tobias Harris going to San Antonio. So it's like you really, and then it was always the dangers of losing Jalen Duren. So you really couldn't gut too much of the first seed from last year. So
Right. I mean, they kind of, it's gonna be looking real different. Well, it's gonna be looking kind of different, I guess. I don't know. It's gonna be
yeah.
several new faces. Another one that another familiar face and maybe looking elsewhere, and that's Marcus Sasser. That came through right when we were setting up.
Yep, yep. So didn't quite see the compensation for him. I want to say it is for picks, but yeah, because the report was for more cap flexibility. So I do believe another move is on the way.
There's no okay, all right. Well, in that I got the trade. Well, I got the details so far. This comes from Mark Stein. It says there is no expectation that Dallas Mavericks will send out a player in the incoming Marcus Sasser trade. It's probably going, or it say he will be absorbed into a trade exception. So he's going
Okay.
to get that that trade exception that we talked about earlier in the group chat. But
Mm-hmm.
so this is obviously to clear cap space or to clear some kind of room to make some kind of a move. A move that I kind of thought they might have been trying to still make was maybe for Jalen Brown, even though he don't got no left hand. And then let me just say this for the record: I don't want no NBA player on my team that my left hand is better than. And anybody who ever played basketball, I mean, you might think I'm left-handed, and I'm not. But
It was
but not.
cash.
Oh, absolutely. And I could do floaters with my left hand. But
Yeah, yeah, the floaters and yeah, yeah.
but but no, with Jalen Brown, he's been traded allegedly to Philly for
Philly, yeah.
Paul George. So looks like he's off the table. So what move could be coming, Quincy?
Well, that's kind of hard to say. I don't know whether you want to get into this later, but we did sign John Collins. Um,
Oh, I forgot.
for,
No, we can talk about that now. I
oh,
forgot to
okay.
put that on. No, we this is gonna close us out. But yeah, talk about John Collins right quick. My bad.
Yeah, so we got John Collins coming from the Clippers. I've been following him since the Atlanta days when he was like a potential Robin to
Wait. My apologies. Right. I keep cutting you off, but I just want to say this. I've been saying John Collins for a while now.
and I was gonna give you your props. I was rolling into
I just wanted to
it.
say, I've been saying John Collins for a minute now, and my exact represent or my the thing I would say about him is he's a younger, better Tobias Harris.
Harris, yeah.
He could probably be a Tobias Harris replacement. But continue, Quincy. My apologies.
Yeah, no, you good. And like I said, I was gonna give you your props to it. I high fived you all the way up until he signed that contract to where he got floated to Utah. That's what I was getting to. He went from Atlanta to Utah, and I want to say that it was a player option tied to it. So I'm like, I like him, but kind of like on my own terms. Like I want to set the standard to his deal, so we won't be locked into like no player option type situation. But no, he ended up gravitating to the Clippers last year, where he kind of had a more down year in terms of his shooting, but he was still good. And yeah, now he's a Piston. Now he's here. Shams reported him as the live threat to help Cade facilitate some things. And yeah, he's more of a pure shooter. The thing, and he's coming in as Tobias Harris' replacement. But one thing I would like to point out from my perspective, I'm hearing this around the league as well from other media, but it is a linear move. Like it was a graphic. I don't know if you got it still that you showed me, but where they stats is pretty much identical. and
Right.
he
So
is.
one thing
Oh,
I
go ahead.
forgot, and when we were setting up, when I was like, "Hey man, what graphics can I put up?" I could always put it up afterwards. But yeah, but yeah. Continue. My bad.
No, no, no. That's what it was. And then I would say he's a better, perimeter shooter than Tobias Harris. But Tobias Harris, he did have that veteran experience. He was better at putting the ball down on the floor, getting closer to the rim, and pretty much making a move. Pretty much all he did in the playoffs. And then I would say Tobias Harris is probably a better facilitator too. Like he when he was on the floor, that plus minus it was when it was good, it was good. So and particularly in the playoffs. So
You make or break yourself in the playoffs,
playoffs,
and
yeah.
I don't really remember Tobias Harris too much before this. Everybody was saying that he sucked, I guess, but he
Hmm.
really leveled off and played real nice for us this year. So that's gonna be the expectation. Like I was talking shit about Tobias Harris all season until then. So hopefully John Collins won't let me get us to the playoffs before I can speak positively about him. But I think he'll be a positive addition. At least I for sure hope so. For every reason that you said, he probably a younger, bigger Tobias Harris. But I said all that to say Tobias Harris went to the San Antonio Spurs,
Yep.
and just because and you also spoke about John Collins' contract, and that was a big reason why allegedly Tobias Harris had full intention on re-signing with the Pistons, but when they saw the deal, he didn't want to take it. And the thing about the deal is only the first year is guaranteed.
Right.
So, John
Yep.
Collins was like, yeah, okay. And Tobias Harris was like, nah, Kai. But in that same post that I saw that Tobias Harris is on record or whatever, on pace to make NBA or whatever, however many record, like 330 some odd $1 million over his NBA career. So
Yeah.
that is very nice for him, and
Highest
keep doing
paid
what you're
from a
doing.
non All Star.
Right. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
very nice. But he's also probably we got our Tobias Harris replacement, but San
Hmm.
Antonio probably got their Harrison Barnes replacement. So any
Congrats to
other
them.
right exactly anything else some Pistons fans who want Harrison Barnes here, by the way. But is
Mm.
there any other moves that I'm forgetting before we look at what move might be coming up?
No, no. But one thing I would like to say about one last thing about John Collins is we bought him here for 17 million a year. And one interesting thing is when you look at his game, he's a live threat that can stretch the floor. And we bought him here for 17 million. And look at what we're going through with Jalen Duren right now. Kind of like a like type thing. But yeah, like you said, enough of that loser.
No, it's so tell me what's the big move? We making cap space. We clearing we got a trade exemption or whatever the hell. What is the move that's coming? If you don't know what it is, what move do you want to come?
Well, I don't know what it is. I've been actually meaning to check like how all the cars landed and see who's still out there. Norman Powell, I know, went to where was that?
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah.
I
Um,
honestly I didn't really want Norman Powell.
no, me either. Not for how old he is, and yeah, he had a good season, but who knows if he could replicate that for what we would want him here for. Let me see. As previously, right before the draft and everything, when I was seeing who was out there, I was seeing Anthony Simons, but it was some not as a big move, but one of them like complimentary, like let's see what we could turn him into, as he is a scorer. But who else? Simons and well, we got our power forward. Go ahead.
Just on Simons, I don't not like him, but he just falls in line with what we got already. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? In my mind, he gonna take minutes from Ron Hollins or somebody, and I don't
Hmm.
want that. But it say or he came. Where's he at now? Did he go to Boston or something like that?
He was in Chicago. He went from Portland to Boston to Chicago.
Okay, cool. So all right,
Yeah.
so that's gonna help my transition or help my point here or whatever I'm going here. So just about the move that I think could maybe be on the way. And I don't got no, whatever, intel or no nothing like that. I'm just maybe this could happen because they've done stuff like this before, and that's if we thinking that the Pistons doing this to make a move, right? That's kind of what they got to be doing.
Mhm.
We saw Portland do something like this before, where they got a player and turned him right around, and they did that with Drew Holiday, and they pretty much gave Boston the championship. They got him from Milwaukee and traded him right to Boston. So Portland just traded for John Morant. Would you be against a move to Portland for John Morant?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Here's why. He got it's gonna be an adjustment for John Morant wherever he goes. Like wherever he goes, he got to redevelop his game. Um, I'm not quite sure how that would work, but that's just his on court. On court, his issue is he's gonna have to reestablish himself. Because he's probably not gonna be no longer the primary ball handler. I mean, he might be a one like the 1B, but like where he at right now in Portland is the Dene a jet. Nah, that's the one I can't never get.
Yeah,
But
Denny Adajai, something like that. I don't know how to
yeah,
say his name.
but yeah, he's the he's that poor man Luka Doncic over there kind of. So
Don't you do that.
I, I seen
Don't
that. I seen that a
you
lot. That's the
do
only
that.
me
Well,
personally. I didn't do it.
next time you see somebody say that, stab him in the neck.
Okay, all right. But that's what they was rolling with this season in particular. But yeah, like he's gonna have to redevelop his game. So I don't like it particularly. He's not a good off ball from what we've seen off ball player. So what would be good with the ball in his hands as he redevelop his game around Cade and everybody and try to do more pick and rolls and everything. I don't see it.
I like it. I love it actually, and it's for everything that you didn't say. I think that he can play off ball. They just didn't have him do it because who else was gonna handle the ball over there? We saw plenty of highlights of Ja catching alley oops and things. He wasn't throwing them to himself. So obviously he was off the ball in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Cade is an excellent passer. He could definitely fit next to Cade. That's usually how it goes. If you got a big point guard, you usually have a smaller, the more defensive minded two guard so they can, cross match, the smaller guard or guard the point guard or however it go. But
Hmm.
Ja can naturally guard point guards if he can focus defensively. I ain't saying he can or he will, but if he could, he would fit even better. Another reason why I believe he'll fit because they let Asur Thompson run the point at times with Kay Cunningham on the floor.
Yeah, they
So if
did.
you let Asur Thompson do it, they let in the playoffs we saw Unk, as y'all like to call him, Tobias Harris bring the ball up and do a lot of things with the ball in his hand. So if they take the ball out of Kay Cunningham hands for Tobias Harris and Asur Thompson, I think they could and or should, and Dennis Jenkins, I think they
Hmm.
could and or should do it for John Morant. And again, I think it'd be excellent. The only reason why I thought that anybody, well, and let me say this, it's a lot of reasons why. Well, the main reason why this could work or would work is he would have to buy in. Of course, that's anywhere in the whole wide world, right? He would have to buy in and fit in, but he wouldn't have to like break himself to do it. I don't think. But
Right.
the joke or whatever I wanted people to say, I want people to say is he can't come to Detroit because Detroit is crazy and he crazy already too.
And
So,
that's where I was going.
but
I was letting you go. So,
But
do we
what if
want
it
him
worked?
here in Detroit?
What if it worked even better? What if he come in and fit so well? Look at Jameson Williams, and he ain't even friends with Sada Baby yet. So if John Morant come, you know he gonna be friends with Sada Baby. You already know it. You already know it. If Sada Baby ain't saying nothing crazy, because Sada Baby saying wild stuff about basketball players, but
I don't
not
like these stories, man. I don't like where this is gonna go. I don't see it ending well. Now, like you said, you gave your perspective on the on court, which I respect. If it can happen and should happen, it will happen. Okay. Do we really want John Morant in the city of Detroit?
yes, because who else we got?
Hopefully somebody who can back him up just in case he get. Man, I don't trust John Morant in Detroit. I don't. I
If
mean,
if he come and behave, what
behave.
like
Yes.
if he let's say tomorrow he be no never mind because that's and that'll start making me think about Jaden Ivey. Never mind. But we'll go ahead and close this one out. But I meant to say this way earlier. But Like you had gave me a little bit of credit for some of the stuff I had said a while ago. I also want to give you credit because you was one of the first players to a lot, or people to a lot of things. You was one of the first people I ever heard saying, "Get rid of Jaden Ivey," and I really like Jaden Ivey, and he's gone. And you was also one of the first people to say, "Get rid of Jaden Duren." What is it? Jalen Duren or Jaren Duren, whatever the hell.
Jalen, yeah.
Jalen Duren. You're one of the first people probably the first person I heard to say get rid of him, and now look at where we at. So, I also wanted to, sprinkle a little credit on you as well. Shout out to our to Deville, who had a birthday recently.
Happy
But
birthday, David.
shout out to him who be sprinkling people in refrigerators. But anything else you have going out of the door?
Nope, nope. Like I said, a big move is coming. I don't know where and how. Hopefully, it's something that's going to help Cade sharpen up.
Give me one.
Uh,
Give me one prediction on the way out the door. Give me one prediction. What is your big move?
I wish he wasn't so old, but and he needs like a Drew Holiday or something like that. He does. Like he needs somebody that Wembyana had with CP3. He need like that. Oh, I still got a little bit left, but I can sharpen up this superstar to where he need to be. I want Cade to at least have that once in his career.
I like it, but I wouldn't consider that necessarily a big move.
Not the big
And
move, no.
I said that in the Facebook chat, and I think y'all cussed at me there too. But
What Drew
my big,
Holiday? No.
yep. And I remember exactly what I said. I might want to go look at it. If I didn't, we was talking about someone. I said not a scorer, but Drew Holiday, and somebody was like, "No, because he got dreadlocks and he ugly." And I was like, "All right, man, whatever." But
Oh man, me too.
but nobody said that. I'm making it up. But of course, my big move is John Morant, of course, and honestly, I'm putting my foot on that one. I think that's my big move, and I think that's gonna happen. That's what I think they're clearing space for. But
Well, credit wise, because Drew Holiday contract is still pretty hefty, so it would be like a 1 to 2 year move, but yeah,
I,
definitely K need that locker room presence that SGA had with CP3, Wemby had with CP3, Devin Booker had. Like no disrespect to Tobias Harris, but he never had that. Hey man, let's go this way type with it, and I don't think it was no mistake that when CP3 got out of here, Wemby immediately went to the finals, but didn't couldn't navigate himself
yeah,
like
and
he
it
couldn't
was and it was
navigate.
a lot of mental errors, a lot of
Yeah,
yeah. They got outplayed mentally by the Knicks, I think. But thank everybody who listened to this thing. Go ahead and check us out. Make sure you follow My High Media everywhere that you see us, and we shall see you guys in the next one.
peace out.
Let's take a look at the Pistons' upcoming schedule. There aren't many left.